Hail our stories.
I need to tell you about the worst 3 days of my life. Not because something jumped out at me. Not because I saw a ghost standing at the foot of my bed. It's worse than that, because I still don't know what happened. I just know it happened to me, and I can prove it did, and nobody will believe me. It started at a hotel called the Ashford Grand. If you've ever driven through the Midwest on a long haul, you've probably stayed somewhere like it, one of those old brick buildings from the 1920s that got bought out and renovated a dozen times, so half the hallways don't match the other half. I was there for a work conference. Boring stuff. I checked in around 9 p.m., tired, wanted to sleep. The woman at the front desk handed me a key card and a little paper sleeve. On the sleeve, someone had written 217 in blue pen. I remember that detail because the ink was smudged, like whoever wrote it had been in a hurry. Second floor, end of the hall, past the ice machine, she said. She didn't look up from her computer. I took the elevator up, walked past the ice machine, which was humming way too loud for a machine that's supposed to just sit there and make ice, and I found my door. 217, the number plate was slightly crooked, like it had been knocked and rehung. I didn't think anything of it. I let myself in. The room was fine. Completely normal. Queen bed, brown carpet, a painting of a lighthouse that didn't match anything else in the room. I unpacked, took a shower, and went to sleep. I woke up at 3:41 a.m. I remember the exact time because I looked at my phone. Something had woken me up, not a sound exactly. More like a pressure. Like the room had gotten heavier while I was asleep. I lay there in the dark, and I had this overwhelming feeling that I was not alone. Not that someone was in the room with me. Something bigger than that. Like the room itself was aware of me. I turned on the lamp. Nothing. Empty room, same lighthouse painting, same brown carpet. I felt stupid. I turned the lamp back off and eventually fell back asleep. The next morning I mentioned it to a coworker at breakfast, mostly as a joke. Man, my room felt haunted last night. She laughed and said hers was fine. Another guy at the table, an older man I didn't know, kind of froze for a second. Then he said, "What room were you in?" 217, I said. He didn't say anything. He just nodded slowly and went back to his eggs. I thought that was strange, but conferences are full of strange, half-asleep people, so I let it go. That night, it happened again. Except this time I woke up at 3:41 a.m., the exact same time, to the sound of someone breathing. Not my breathing. Slower. Heavier. Coming from somewhere near the closet. I didn't turn on the light this time. I don't know why. I just lay completely still and listened to it for what felt like 10 minutes, until it stopped. Then I got up, turned on every light in the room, and didn't sleep again that night. In the morning, I went to the front desk. I told them my room felt wrong, that I wanted to switch. The woman working the desk, different from the one who checked me in, pulled up her computer, typed for a second, frowned, and typed again. "Sir, what room did you say you were in?" 217. "We don't have a room 217. I told her that was impossible. I'd been sleeping there for 2 nights. Here's my key card. Look, it's written right on the sleeve. She took the sleeve, looked at it, looked at her screen, and got very quiet. This hotel doesn't have a second floor room ending in 17. Our second floor goes 201 through 215, and then 218 through 230. I stood there doing the math in my head, and she was right. I actually remembered walking past 215 on my way to my room, and I remembered the ice machine being between 215 and wherever I was going. There was number 216, number 217. There was just the ice machine, and then, apparently, my door. She asked another employee to check, and I watched him walk toward the elevator with me. We went up. We walked the hallway together. 211, 213, 215, and then the ice machine, exactly like I remembered, and then, past the ice machine, nothing. A wall. Plain, painted, slightly different shade than the rest of the hallway, like it had been patched at some point. No door. No room number. Number 217. I want to be clear. I was not confused about which floor I was on. I had walked that hallway twice a day for 2 days. I knew where my door was. And it was not there anymore. Or it had never been there. I genuinely don't know which is worse. The employee looked as unsettled as I felt. He said, very carefully, that sometimes older buildings have rooms that get decommissioned and sealed off, and maybe I was remembering the number wrong. But I had the key sleeve. 217, in blue ink, smudged like it was written in a hurry. He looked at it for a long time and didn't say anything else. They moved me to a different room for my third night, 223, a completely unremarkable room with a view of the parking lot, and I didn't sleep, but not because anything happened. I just couldn't stop thinking about the wall. Before I left the conference, I tracked down the older man from breakfast, the one who'd frozen up when I told him my room number. I asked him directly what he knew. He told me that 15 years ago, before the renovation, there had been a room on that floor where a guest died in his sleep, heart attack, nothing sinister, just an unlucky, lonely death, days before anyone found him. After that, the hotel quietly closed the room and had it walled off during the next renovation instead of dealing with the paperwork of demolishing and rebuilding it. He said staff who'd worked there a long time still called it 217 out of habit, even though officially the room stopped existing on any blueprint, any room service list, any fire escape map. He said he'd stayed on that floor once, years ago, and that some nights, if you're in one of the rooms nearby, you can still hear breathing through the wall. 3:41 a.m. was, apparently, the exact time paramedics had been called, according to the old fire log, all those years ago. I checked out that afternoon. I still have the key sleeve. 217, written in blue ink. I've shown it to friends. I've shown it to my coworker who was at that conference with me. Nobody at that hotel will confirm the room ever existed, and there is a wall where I know, with absolute certainty, my door used to be. I don't know who checked me in that first night. I don't know who wrote that room number on the sleeve. And I don't know what was breathing in the closet at 3:41 a.m. I just know I'll never take a hotel room past an ice machine again.